It's going to be a wonderful book. I have another video coming out on this. It is a wonderful book, and I do have another video coming out on this. The launch is going to be amazing. Uh, you can definitely pre-order getyourmindrightbook.com. And then if you want to review it as well, because I definitely would love to take some reviews, I'll leave some more information about that in the description. But check it out, and you'll get a free copy of the book if you want to review it. So yeah, just so in that vein of Life with Ken, working on growing it, and then my book coming out as well. Um, this 5 year anniversary is just again a culmination of a lot of different things, and one of the things I was thinking about as I just highlighted a moment ago, and I was thinking about the value of this entire process. It keeps changing over time, which I think is really interesting because it kind of like morphs and shifts, but not in something that is like amorphous. So it's not like a blob or something that doesn't have any form, but you begin to see the art in the form and the different dimensions, and oh, look at that stroke that was used, and all those different types of things. And so like that's what I'm starting to see with Life with Ken, just the artistry of it all, and how that artistry can resonate with me, and then of course with you, definitely. um but I thought about that from a values perspective, because I'm like, okay, if what I'm doing here isn't valuable, then what makes anything objectively in life valuable? And then the reason why I got there, because I was just thinking about the ups and downs of the journey, and I'm like, could I have done something easier? Could I have done something like not so, frankly, scary, not so isolating, not so ostracizing, in some cases, not so much demonizing? Um, and as I thought about it and worked through that thought process, I'm like, the only way I could have done something, not the only way, but one of the main ways I could have done something that's not me doing this right now, would have been if I were to say that my values don't matter. My values of who I am as a human being, my values of who I am as a Christian, my values of who I am as a black man, my values of, who I am as someone who wants the opportunity to thrive and live and have material success, not just functional success, but success that is so successful that it can reach and pull forth into my immediate reality things. And it's not even that having things is all that important or anything like that, but also it's just fruit of your labor. Just what was I able to accomplish? So there's this type of thinking referred to as a slave mentality. And a slave mentality is the process with which you make excuses for your conditions. So if you're in a bad situation or things aren't going in the way that you want them to go to, instead of trying to figure out ways that you can improve your context, you might say, well, these things are like this, or I can't do this because of this. You end up giving your struggles virtues and values, and just allowing those things to influence your existence. If I were to do that, if I were to live that way within the space of a slave mentality, I wouldn't just not be who I am right now and who I am today. Damn near, I'd be unrecognizable for a whole host of reasons. For a whole host of reasons. So like that wasn't an option for me. Like realistically, being a less being someone who's less than myself, being someone who demonstrates behaviors that are opposed to me being a healthy person, or me living in a way that is reflective or representative of how I understand myself to be on the inside. If I were to behave in any way of the sort, like, you might as well call me something like it's just not me. It's just not who I am, and I've struggled with that as well. And another reason for Life with Ken, is like I have been in places and spaces where people, places, and things around me wanted me to behave or be less than what I am. And there's one particular conclusion that I draw for that, but that is not for me to speak on. Um, but ultimately, I have to make a decision that regardless of whether or not I am valued for who I am, this is who I am. And it's not that who I am um, doesn't meet your expectations or doesn't um, fulfill or check all the boxes of your schemas as it relates to me. In some cases, not in all cases, but in some cases, as it relates to me being less than the fullness of who I am, in those scenarios, it's historically has been the case um, that you don't necessarily have a problem with me doing certain things. The problem is with me, period. You know, and I've had to work through that and something 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 haters. You know, like it's that part has been a little bit discouraging and I've been in this season of like facing my fears and that's been something that I've had to deal with for a while of just not having people who support me and not and when I say not having people who support me and I don't want to disparage anybody what I'm saying or what I'm referring to is um if I tell you something or if I conduct myself a certain way or if I demonstrate certain things, um, but then you still peddle a false narrative, that right, that's inherently unsupportive. Just like there's no middle ground because I'm over here and you're over here, and I'm not even saying we have to be together, but like we're not even within proximity, you know. And so those are the experiences that I've had with various people, places, and things, um, and it can be discouraging and disparaging. I recall this one conversation that I had with someone who was asking me about profitability and some of my struggles there. And I just explained, well, you know, it's difficult when I have individuals ask me how I'm doing, but then don't turn around and reciprocate with a like or a repost. I'm not even saying a purchase, but I'm just saying like just normal supportive things. And the response I got back was, "Yeah, life's tough." You know, someone who I would call close to me when I shared my book release with that individual. You know, they were very excited for me, which I appreciate. But then a few weeks later, I'm like, hey, well, did you check out the link? Did you read the description? Oh, no, I didn't get around to it. Okay, that's inherently unsupportive. Um, you know what I'm saying? So like, and because that those are just two instances, but there's certainly more and others that I could highlight. But like, you may not like it, but just you can't live that way. I can't live that way. Objectively, no one can live that way. And so what ends up happening within that context is okay, you don't have to support me, but also I don't have to, continue to engage in that capacity. So I I go down that path because like that's some of the journey of life with kin as well. And just you know, I have value to offer. Um, People who are part of life with kin value what I offer, and that's who I do it for. Um, I think there is value in choosing to become the fullness of what you were created to be because life is hard. Um, you can end up going through and doing a lot of different things that you just, you know, wish you didn't do, regrets, or just different changes and routes in life, whatever the situation may be. um and so just having someone or anything that can just give you a little bit of objective insight, or and different approaches and different things you can do to deal with some of those scenarios and situations, I think that's invaluable. I think like that is, again, if we can do that here at Life with Kin, then we're doing something decent, I would say.